Let me first say, though, that you should be the one being interviewed, not me.
Well, I'm gonna mention that. I'd like to tell the viewers that this is part of the I Thou video series, and my guest today is Mr. Jim McLaughlin, and he just said to me, "Why isn't he interviewing me?" But the point of the I Thou interview series is that we interview each other.
Ah, okay.
Hence the name.
Ah, very clever. Yes, yes.
Now, you have great skills at interpersonal communication.
I like to think so.
Other people have said this to you?
Yes.
To what do you attribute these?
Empathy and just thinking about how I would like to be treated, for the most part. You know, it's just common sense, really. You know.
Okay. Now, I have my notebook in front of me, and in my notebook, I write down things that interest me. And I'm writing in this thing every single day. Okay, here's something I wrote down the other day. I thought about this scene from Of Mice and Men. It's a short novel by somebody whose name I can't remember right now. John Steinbeck. And it goes like this. Someday we're going to get the money together and we're going to have a little house and a couple acres with a cow and some pigs. And his friend Lenny says to him, and we're going to live off the fat of the land, and we're going to have rabbits. Come on, George, talk about what we're going to have in the garden, and the rabbits and the cages and the rain and the stove and how thick the cream is on the milk, like you can hardly cut it. Come on, George, talk about that. Do you have something comparable to what our friend Lenny here has?
A little bit.
Like an idyllic thing that you would love to happen to you someday?
Maybe not. Well, yeah, maybe to myself. I just saw House Hunters International the other night. It was from New Zealand. And this couple was moving to New Zealand with no jobs, and they were just moving there to live. They were going from California because they were saying that California was too busy and too hectic, and the freeways and the driving and, you know, all that. And they just wanted to live somewhere in peace. And I remember at one of the properties they were looking at, because in House Hunters they look at 3 different properties to decide which one they want. And hopefully they pick one. One of the properties had like animals and sheep and goats. And the woman said, I want sheep, and I want some goats and maybe some chickens. And her husband's looking at her like, you've got to be out of your mind. You know, we're coming here because we don't want chores and duties. We don't want things to do. But she did. I like New Zealand. I'd like to visit there.
But I'm wondering, do you have like a plan in your own life where you would live in some? Are you going to stay in the house you're living now?
Oh no, eventually Florida. Yeah.
I see.
Like to get a condo in Florida, be a snowbird, live there for half the year. Yeah. And come back, you know, like in May, you know, when the weather starts to turn around, except in 2024 with the upcoming eclipse. That'll be April 8th, 2024. So I'm going to have to come back a little early that year.
You want to be here for all the hype?
Oh, of course. Yeah, in the zone of totality. I was watching the program that was on Monday. That was like for 2 hours from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. And, they went from Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, Georgia, and South Carolina, pretty much. And I just felt very bad for the areas that there were clouds, and it became dark because of the eclipse, but they couldn't see it, and Carbondale, Illinois was one of the areas. Nashville and also Charleston were other areas that were overcast. so their parties were without seeing the eclipse, although it did get dark. But Carbondale, Illinois, they had a whole football stadium there, and I think it was Illinois State University, the Salukis. I think it's Illinois State. They had a whole stadium full of people there, and that was where the eclipse was the longest. It was 2.5 minutes, or 2 minutes, 40 seconds, or something like that. But it was cloud cover, and the people couldn't see it until the last 5 seconds of the eclipse. And it comes out of the cloud, and the people are like, ah, and the sun came out. And it was like, oh, I felt so bad. But now I don't feel so bad because, amazingly, Carbondale, Illinois will also be in the trail of the 2024 eclipse. Weirdly. Who would have thunk? You know, they'd get a second chance, although it's 7 years from now. But still, you know, what are the chances? You know, so, you know, hopefully they'll get the chance there, and hopefully we'll get a good view of it too. You know, that would kind of suck, you know, if it was overcast. But what are you going to do? You can't do anything against Mother Nature. It is what it is. That, did I answer your question correctly?
Yes, but it leads me to another question. Am I to understand that you didn't go out and watch it? You watched the whole thing on TV?
No. I did go out, and I didn't have the special glasses, but I used regular sunglasses just to look at it real quick, and I could see where the moon was. You know, here in Western New York, it was like 75%,
yeah.
And that was like 2:35 in the afternoon, you know, so... Oh, no, yeah, I wanted to see it, you know, up front, firsthand, but... for the most part, I wanted to watch the TV program, and I was just hoping. It was on ABC had the best coverage, in my opinion. CBS, they had a picture of the eclipse in one corner, but then they showed two guys talking somewhere else, and I was like, what, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, come on, you got to be there, you know, on site, and that's what ABC did for the most part, starting in Oregon, and they'd show the people, and they'd show it getting darker. And when that eclipse first started, it was dark. It was night dark. Very cool. And then it was like, come on, move that camera up to the moon. And they did. You know, they never do it the way you want it. But this time they did, you know, because you want to get the whole picture, you know, from ground to eclipse. And after that, you know, it was, I guess, not that big a deal. You know, especially with the overcast sites, you know, across the U.S. So, but still, it's a big deal. It doesn't really happen all that much. But I guess the last coast-to-coast eclipse was like 99 years ago. And one of the reporters on Channel 7, ABC National, she goes, well, they haven't had a chance to see this like this in 99 years. And that wasn't really true. That was just the last coast-to-coast eclipse. There had been other eclipses, you know, after that, but a coast-to-coast is really kind of, you know, special. So,
now some people claim that they had a spiritual experience.
Okay. All right, I can believe that.
Did that happen to you? Did you have
No.
Okay.
In fact, I wanted to go out in my driveway and sit in the 80 to 85 degree temperatures and get some sun from the eclipse, which I did. Yeah.
I see. I see.
So I got an eclipse tan, is what happened, Richard. Yeah. So.
Okay. Here's my next quote. Ready? It's 1936, in the depths of the Great Depression. A woman named Lorena Hickok was sent by the Roosevelt administration. And she was asked to find out how Americans who aren't in the big cities are handling the Depression. So in the process then, she would ask them if they're not doing very well, are you aware that there's these programs that are available? See, she would spread the word about the New Deal.
I bet they didn't know. But she probably found out in a hurry.
So she had a two-pronged mission: find out how they're coping with it, and B, then offer them assistance. Well, she came across one woman who didn't want any help or encouragement from her at all. And here's what this woman said to her. Look, don't bother. If with all the advantages that I've had, if I can't make a living, I'm just no good, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe she was just happy with her own existence.
She blamed herself for her misfortune. She didn't want to blame the economic system.
Ah, okay. Well, there's something to be said for that.
And that's, I was wondering if you had a comment about that.
Well, that's...
I mean, do you think that our economic system could be improved?
Our economic system is fantastic the way it is. We might need some safeguards here and there. I just read an article in the paper the other day that said that, credit card debt is getting to be a problem again, and they didn't think that that would happen. And usually that's an indicator that a recession is on the way. And I was talking about this, or I was thinking about this because of thinking about buying a condo down in Florida. And I remember the last recession was like 2009, 2008, 2009. The condos and the houses down in Florida were real cheap and didn't cost hardly anything due to that. And so I'm not hoping that another recession comes along, but if it does, I think I'm going to take advantage of the situation and purchase a condo, and if it does happen shortly, but we got to learn by our mistakes. And apparently before, the banks were loaning out money left and right, not really thinking about whether it was going to get paid back or not. And that's kind of scary. Then again, on the other side of the coin, our national debt is at all-time record high and just keeps on rolling. I think the last time I saw it was at like $20 trillion, maybe more than that. I might be wrong. And that's totally wrong. It's totally scary. And I think a lot of it has to do with credit cards. And they should take them away or not give them to people so easily. Yeah.
Are you ever asked to give advice to people who you are in your family?
I give my advice, but usually only when it's asked for. Or when it deals with my money. That's when I'll give my advice. But other than that, or I try to use an example or humor, to hopefully, I don't like teaching lessons. I think people are smarter than that. But occasionally I give my advice when I think it's warranted, or if I think it'll be listened to. Sometimes you can give advice and people don't give a rat's ass, and so, and that has happened from time to time. And then I learn, when to distribute my advice. Yeah.
Now, different families run differently. Sometimes both people have their own bank accounts, their own source of wealth, whatever. Mm-hmm. Other times they pool it and they make joint decisions on it. Mm-hmm. And other times they pool it, but one person decides all the money matters. Mm-hmm. How is yours set up? Ours is all one, mine and my wife's. Yeah. And who's the money manager? She is. Ah. Yeah, without a doubt. But always wants my opinion on stuff. And a big reason why it is that way is because when my daughter and my son were growing up, it seems like they wanted a lot of stuff. And I just remember I didn't have much stuff when I was a kid or growing up. I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. There was 5 of us in our family. For some ridiculous reason, families had to have 5 members back in the day. And we didn't have any money. And I didn't expect to get any money without working for it. And so a lot of my answers to little questions that my daughter and my son, stuff they apparently needed, would have been no. Would have been a definite no. And that would have caused consternation in my family, without a doubt.
without a doubt. So I left those decisions to my wife because she knew better. And
so she had a more diplomatic way of expressing that you might not be able to afford a new bike or something like that?
No, she said yes. I was no, she was yes. You know, she understood for some reason the modern kids, you know, whereas I would say, no, you're not going to get Chipotle, just make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you know, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. To me, it was obvious. And even nowadays, you know, people go to Taco Bell, you know, and spend like $15, $20. Go to Wendy's and spend $3. You know, oh, Wendy's isn't healthy, you know, and it's like, come off it. You got to be kidding me. You know, save some money. You go to Wendy's, $3. You get 3 items off their dollar menu, and you're full. You know, you get 2 items and fries, you know. And recently they had a 50-cent sale on their Frosties, too.
Now, you are a believer in exercise, are you not?
I am, except when I'm injured, like I am right now. That's the only bummer about having a leg injury is you can't jog. And jogging is great. You can do it whenever you want. You don't need any teammates or group or anything. You don't need no equipment. All you need is sneakers. Well, you probably shouldn't run nude either. You know, you need shorts and stuff, socks. But yeah, jogging is great. I've done it since my teens, and you can do it whenever you want to do it. And as long as you want.
You try to do it once a day?
A couple times a week.
I see.
A couple times a week. And that gets less in the wintertime, Richard, when it's colder out, because it's harder to get out.
Aren't you worried about slipping?
No. You just be careful. You know, it's like, oh, aren't you worried about getting mugged in New Orleans? No, you just don't go down any dark alleys for you stupid... Come on, it's just common sense, you know. I'm not calling you stupid, by the way, no.
Have you traveled much? You brought up New Orleans.
To a certain degree, and, you know, it's funny, me and my wife travel, but the most I've traveled to various different places was with my son, because he was involved in these internet games. An example of that is Halo. That's what he was into, and that was like going back 15 years ago to 5 years ago. You know, it was 10 years ago. And we went to a number of different cities: Columbus, Ohio, Washington, D.C., you know, and just these different places where these internet tournaments were going on. And he was into that because he was a nerd. Still is, to a big degree. And
he wouldn't mind you saying that.
Not at all. Oh, no. And yeah, that's a positive term nowadays.
Well, yeah, that's Bill Nye, the science guy. He's got a book out now and talking about why it's a good thing to be called a nerd.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. And it also denotes a certain time period, like the 80s, 90s, when that first came out. You know, it's a positive thing. But I got to visit other cities, and I'd drive my son. Raleigh, North Carolina was another place. What a great town. I got to go there a couple times. Him and his teammates didn't really want to see me, you know, at the tournament. You know, I was like a dad, you know, because they wanted to do their own thing, and, you know, and that was fine. I kept an eye on them, you know, from a distance, but I also got to walk around the downtowns of the different cities and, you know, and be a tourist, but nobody knew I was. And it was a great experience. At one of those tournaments, this is a funny story, Richard. They have 4 guys on each of these tournament teams. And one of his teammates was from Rhode Island. He's going to Providence University now, in Rhode Island now. But his name was Max. And they have very stringent rules with these tournaments. You got to be there on time, you got to be ready to go, or you're disqualified. So the very first tournament game on this Saturday afternoon, Max, they can't find him. They're texting him, they're calling him, they don't know where the hell he is. They got 3 of their teammates there. And They can't find them, and the match is just about to begin. They get somebody else to replace them. It's not allowed, but they don't know this. And this kid sits in for him, and he goes, well, my game starts in another 15, 20 minutes over there, so hopefully he'll come, But they're already disqualified, or at least I thought they were, and they start playing. And then the guy's teammates are yelling for him like 10 minutes later, you got to come over here, our game's starting. And he goes, up, I got to go. So he's getting up out of the chair and taking these headphones off that they had. They had headphones too. And Max shows up. Max, where you been? We haven't even had time to talk about it. We don't care. He takes the headphones, he sits down, and everybody sees this happen, especially, and the referee's there too. And he plays out the game. And then at the end of the game, the guy comes over and he goes, I saw what happened. What's all this? And he gave him some phony baloney excuse about his grandmother dying and that he had to call her. I was like, this is a teenager, He'll probably grow up to be a congressman, But and it worked. It actually flew. But they disqualified that one first game. And then they had 2 more games. It was a best-of-3 arrangement.
Yeah.
And they won the next 2 games and won the match, and nobody from the other team balked. Oh, my God, they should have just been disqualified, right then and there. I suppose the referee was like, hey, they've come this far, and they all got hotel rooms. This has never happened before because nobody's ever pulled this on us before. But oh, my God, it was the funniest thing. My grandmother's dying. Can you believe? Oh, man, I'll never forget that. I was like, I want him to be my congressman. Yeah.
When you were in the South, very topical question, did you notice any Confederate monuments?
No, I did not. I saw them toppling these Confederate monuments, which are beautiful. To my way of thinking, those should have been preserved. They're moving a lot of them out now. They're putting them somewhere safe. But you didn't have to destroy them. I myself have never looked upon the Confederacy or Confederate flags or anything like that as slavery or, in a racial overtone or anything like that. However, you've got to pay attention to what others think. And that's what it all comes down to. And if you got that many people who are bitching about it, then you got to get rid of them, But still, hopefully they'll send them somewhere. They'll probably send them to the Smithsonian in a warehouse where they won't never be, opened again. I don't know, but that was kind of unfortunate. I don't really look at the Civil War as, our enemies. I mean, they were fighting for a purpose too, but it all comes down to perception and what people think. So you got to pay attention to that.
Here's another quote from my notebook. Is it better to live one's life guided by a cheerful falsehood or to live one's life guided by a sobering truth?
Is the cheerful falsehood a white lie? You know what I mean?
Well,
are we talking something really serious?
I'll give you an example. Robin Williams on stage was happy, cheerful, but off stage he suffered from anxiety, fear, depression, and alienation to the point where he killed himself.
Right.
So I thought up a little thought experiment. In country A, everybody smiles the instant you point a camera at them.
Yeah, okay.
In camera B, everybody just keeps the same expression that they're doing when they look at the camera. Which country do you think would have a higher suicide rate?
Probably the second one.
The one that they didn't bother to pretend they were happy when the camera was pointed at them? They just kept the same expression?
Because in the first one, you're not allowed to suicide yourself. Yeah. There's a law against that, And they probably scared them so much they wouldn't never suicide. If you give people more control over the situation, they just might. And I don't understand that because nowadays suicide seems to be prevalent, and especially in younger people.
It's the highest cause of death of teenagers.
Oh, I know. And I know that that's always happened. And And I hate to go back in my day. It's like Dana Carvey doing the grumpy old man. We never used to do it that way. But there was a lot less suicides before. Now they're telling me that a lot of it is the social media nowadays. A lot of peer pressure. But I think it has to be the person though. And I don't know what we need to make people feel more confident in themselves and not give a shit what other people say, because apparently they do. And that's frustrating. And to just think, oh, I'm just going to get away from this problem by killing myself. That's what I'm going to do. And it's, no, what are you talking about, I remember when bullying, you just got beat up. And you left it at that. You let the person beat you up because you knew you weren't going to fight or beat him up, Nowadays, it's like, it seems to be a constant kind of thing. I don't know, maybe they should have a bully patrol or something and go after the bullies. Just an idea.
Remember when we went to Greg Sterlace's birthday party?
Yes.
Somebody at that event wound up killing themselves.
No kidding.
Yeah, I photographed him and Greg standing together.
Oh my gosh.
Tyler.
Did he have difficult reasons for same, in his life? Or?
He didn't leave a note. But his brother went on Facebook and said, remember everybody when I put out the APB that my brother was missing? Well, you can stop looking because they found the body in the Niagara River.
Yikes.
Some people saw him jump in.
He had troubles. Maybe he had mental problems,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it wasn't really, worldly problems or society problems. Maybe it was mental. Possibly. I hate to say hopefully, but, maybe it was,
Here is the next quote from my notebook. All right. There is a need to be conscious of somebody else being conscious of us. I'll give you an example.
Like God?
Well, that's the point. People say when you have no one else to be aware of you, you invent something to be aware of you. And
like aliens?
Well, that would be God, for example.
Oh, okay.
I mean, look at the song Santa Claus is Coming to Town, right? He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. See, Santa Claus is the conscious mind that is aware of you. So he fulfills that obligation.
Right. But see, he was good things. There wasn't anything bad to come from Santa Claus. I don't know why it popped into my mind right now, Richard, but I'm thinking of the Spectrum commercials on TV.
Tell me about that.
Have you seen some of those?
No.
They have the little girl sleeping in her bed at night and the trolls, the orcs or whatever you want to call them, the bad guys are underneath her bed.
Yeah.
And one of them's arms is sticking out, and they're talking about the price of cable TV. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
Oh, it's classic. And that's what they're talking about. But of course, they're trying to show that with little kids, they're scared about what's underneath their bed. And they're talking about that, and she bends down. She goes, "I can hear you." And she tries to go back to sleep again. And then they're talking more, and she goes, "Dad!" Oh, it's great. They got another one where they got the 5 or 6 monster guys at the table playing cards.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I have not.
Oh man, you got to see that. That's great. Yeah, because they're just playing cards and. The werewolf has something to say, like he's taking something personal. But then they turn it around and they go, no, we can't do that because this cable TV provider doesn't have the resources, we can't do that. And then the little puppet, guy, he goes, I'll take care of it for you. And they go, what are you talking about? And we got a mummy, we got a werewolf, we got a vampire, all the 5 horror genres at the table with this puppet guy. And they go, what are you talking about? Take care of it. He goes, it means what it means. And the one guy goes, you're freaking me out. It's classic. They're the best commercials going right now.
Do they explain how he's going to take care of it?
No, that's the thing. And I think it kind of reminds me of, he sees you when you're sleeping. What's this guy going to do? You don't know. Yeah.
And
But with kids though, it's always good stuff usually. You don't want to pepper kids with bad stuff. Hey, the devil sees you. That's not going to work. You need good stuff like a tooth fairy, and even better, you get money for your teeth too.